Welcome to a Nonsense Wars GBC production, the first one in a while. I started working on the mechanical reverser mover months ago, but I got a bit tired of it after finishing the core component, which is based off the reverser in the aerial tram from the 8891 Technic Ideas book. We were most curious about how said reverser worked, and later most curious about how well it would work in a GBC module. Stay tuned for a future video on the Technic Ideas book itself. Despite effectively having a template to follow, I still had some difficulty developing the mover. It was difficult to determine what elements of the design were required for a generic implementation versus what elements of the design were required for the tram specifically. I had to build and test a lot of prototypes, all the while slowly compacting the mechanism before I managed to create a reverser that could reliably run back and forth on a short test track. Since the module primarily focuses on the reverser itself, I kept the peripheral mechanisms fairly simple. Further development really depends on the reliability. The loader, unloader, and carrier all borrow heavily from the development of the slide and spin. I mentioned in that video that I would have liked to have the slide and spin platform lift itself much like the mover's platform does. Still, I did try a mechanism I had not tried before. The loader has a fancy gate that only moves a limited number of balls at a time. The back of the gate stops the ball stream when loading. The tower in the slide and spin acted as a buffer such that the rotating platform did not get overwhelmed with too many balls, but the mover does not have such a buffer, and as such, I felt that it required the limited gate. Now we can look at the reverser itself. It is fundamentally a sliding shaft transmission with a single forward and reverse gear. The white drive shaft always spins the same direction, but the output direction varies depending on the engaged crown gear. A series of levers move the shaft when they come into contact with the bumpers at the ends of the travel. Despite having only a 1:3 gear ratio, the platform moves pretty slowly since the final drive consists of an 8-tooth gear on a rack. The beams on the side hold the reverser on the track and also guide the mover up and down. It connects to the reverser through a 4-bar linkage and rides on 2 small wheels. Since the motor moves within the module, I have fixed the end of the wire in a position where it won't get tangled and made an extension cable the actual lead. I don't know how well this will work long term. My prototypes all had the wire running under the track, but I didn't have the space to do that in practice. Finally, the gate on the platform itself opens in a fairly conventional way, and I've started building these flaps at the ends of some modules to help guide ball flow. Ultimately, I don't like that this reversing mechanism needs a rubber band to prevent the transmission from dead centering. But if it proves reliable, I may try to think of an alternative for a future version 2. The dog shifting the transmission shaft also relies on bushing friction to remain in place. Using tighter old bushings makes this less bad, but I don't know of any other way to build this part. As usual, we shall see what happens on the reliability front. And on that note, this is the end of the video, so have a nice day.